Hello there, and thank you for making time for us on NTV Weekend Edition this Saturday, the third day of the new month of August 2019. I trust your weekend is coming along great. We are live from the nation's center here in the capital city, Nairobi. Among the top stories tonight: Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso is laid to rest.
Rest in peace, Mom. You are the most amazing person I ever met.
Calls for cohesion amid cultural diversity as politicians in sheep's clothing are called out.
Tusiwe wale ambao Yesu alituambia, they preach water na jioni shauri yenu mtajionea mengi.
Also tonight, Kibra Member of Parliament Ken Okoth cremated in the absence of his mother and alleged son despite family's commitment. Boy's mother Ann Thumbi vows to go to court. Plus, does Kenya have the personnel and capacity to fight the cancer scourge?
If we invest only in brick and mortar, we will not get it right.
We have about 35 oncology nurses. Unfortunately, they are not all deployed in oncology nursing.
And Governor Ferdinand Waititu is back.
Kazi mingi ambayo governor anafanya haiko kwa ofisi ndani. Kazi mingi ya governor ni kuenda katika mashinani.
Embattled Kiambu boss takes power war with his deputy to the streets.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno, and we ask for your company for the next 60 minutes or so. To our top story, the late Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso has been laid to rest at her Fort Tanan home in Kisumu County, with calls for national unity in the face of cultural diversity dominating the speeches. President Uhuru Kenyatta is urging Kenyans and leaders to emulate the values of cohesion and peaceful coexistence held by the late governor's family. Bridget Ngana was there for us.
Even in death, the late Governor Joyce Laboso's family life painted the picture of a home tightly woven in love, which permeated strong cultural and ethnic barriers between the Luo and the Kipsigis.
Some holidays we go to Sotik, some holidays we go to Kisumu. We would have those days when we are enjoying goat meat and milk and mursik, and then other times we go and we have fish, you know. We had a lot of, ngege, mbuta. The only fish we don't really like is omena, but that's fine.
The whole household was speaking Luo, and I was speaking English from America because I just come from the States, and we could not communicate. But as a result, because of living in that home, anyalo loso do Luo maber.
Leaders who attended the burial joined in the call for unity in diversity among Kenyans. President Uhuru Kenyatta is calling on Kenyans to emulate their bonyos. Kenyatta wants the political elite to walk the unity talk.
Na urafiki kati yako na Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Sisi wote kama Wakenya tunaunga mkono ndio tuweze kuondoa siasa chafu ya ugomvi na chuki na ukabila.
Let us be people who do as they say. Tusiwe wale ambao Yesu alituambia, they preach water na jioni shauri yenu mtajionea mengi.
All the accounts, Joyce Laboso was a great lady, and she's being laid to rest as a Kenyan heroine.
Alikuwa mbunge shupavu, alikuwa kiongozi wenye fikira na hekima, na yeye amewacha alama kubwa. Kwa hivyo Kenya imepoteza.
Yesu nasimama, Yesu nasimama, ndiye mwambani.
The late Governor Joyce Laboso has finally been rested at her Fortanan home, with the president asking the nation to emulate her and her husband, who chose to love each other and stick together regardless of their tribal and ethnic backgrounds. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Kisumu County.
May her soul rest in eternal quiet. Now, calls to increase the number of women in leadership also came up at the funeral of the late Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso. Leaders present, led by fellow pioneering women governors, implored on the Bomet Governor-designate Hilary Barchok to nominate a woman deputy in honor of Laboso. But as NTV Silas Apollo reports, the calls only act as a reminder of the failure by Parliament to pass the 2/3 gender principle, which was to solve the imbalance.
8 years since the promulgation of the new constitution, the place of women in leadership in the country is yet to be determined, in spite of a constitutional provision. Women leaders have now resolved to lobbying as they fight for the enactment of the law. And on this day, the podium was at the burial of the late Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso.
And we just want to request, with your support and the Deputy President's support, that in Bomet and in her honor, that the governor who's taking over sees it in her honor to choose a lady deputy governor to honor our sister.
We have continued to talk about the 2/3 gender rule will never be given by them. And because they'll never give us, let's move quickly and look at all the areas where we can feel quickly.
ODM leader Raila Odinga also joined in the calls to balance the scale.
Because of these disadvantages that women have, and also historical discriminations that have been exercised in our society from time immemorial, as a country, we must address this issue head on.
But these calls come just days after Chief Justice David Maraga dismissed a petition seeking to dissolve Parliament for failing to adopt a law on the 2/3 gender rule 5 times. The Court of Appeal had in April dismissed an appeal filed by speakers of Parliament seeking to oppose a decision by the High Court that found that the House failed to enact the constitutional requirement. And so for now, it will be a wait and see as Parliament once again races against time to fulfill the constitutional requirement. Only that this time, one hopes that they marshal the numbers to pass it. Silas Apollo, NTV.
The discord in the family of Ken Okoth escalated even as he was granted his final rights. The Kibra Member of Parliament was cremated early this morning, but in the absence of his mother and the boy who is allegedly his son. The boy's mother, Anthumbi, says she will sue Okoth's family for breaching the agreement to have that they had yesterday and led to the lifting of the court order. However, in the wee hours of Saturday, the MP's body was taken from the Lee Funeral Home, and at about 9 a.m. the hearse was making an entry into the final rites venue at Kariokor, where he was cremated as he had wished. It was a private ceremony which was attended by his wife Monica, brother Imran Okoth, lawyer and friend Edwin Sifuna, among a few others. Okoth's mother, Angeline Ojuang, wanted to bury her son according to the Luo culture and is reportedly going to bury a banana stalk at her home in Homa Bay County. Now, the government has reacted to the cancer scourge by pledging to build specialized centers across the country to help with early diagnosis and treatment of the disease, which is increasingly claiming Kenyan lives. But while there is a need for further infrastructural development, there are other calls for more training and capacity building in oncology. NTV's Charity Mwangi has been speaking to fellows and trainers from the only oncology program in sub-Saharan Africa about the limitations of the country's plan to combat cancer.
President Uhuru Kenyatta's Friday announcement that the government will build chemotherapy and radiotherapy centers across the country has brought hope, a step in the right direction in battling the cancer scourge. But Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o, a cancer survivor, points to a different, perhaps bigger priority.
We seem to be laying a lot of emphasis in building cancer centers. What is important about cancer is getting people who are specialized. We have a long way to go, Mr. President. We really must invest on research and education and specialization.
The low number of personnel trained in oncology is limiting the handling of the rising demand for treatment, according to oncologist Otieno Abinya.
We have about 35 oncology nurses, trained oncology nurses in the country. Unfortunately, they are not all deployed in oncology nursing. They train them and then they send them to family planning and all that kind of thing. They don't let them stay on, particularly in the public.
It turns out that there are very few medics pursuing advanced training in this area of knowledge, a huge burden to the already few specialists.
After my training, I also decided, together with a senior colleague, to, enforce or support cancer treatment in Nakuru County Hospital. And I must say that the county is very supportive, and this outpost has really helped to decongest Kenyatta, because we used to see a lot of referrals from that region.
Oncology is an excellent career because a lot is happening in cancer. Every day there's a new medication, there's a new way of treatment.
Many Kenyans have been traveling abroad for treatment of cancer in the belief that they are better equipped. Dr. Abinya says this is not always necessary.
To be honest, most people are going to just gaze around there and come back with their cancers. So it's unfortunate, but it's happening. But there's a small percentage that need genuinely to be referred for treatment abroad, but it's not a big number.
Doctors are also encouraging Kenyans to watch out for telltale signs and to adopt a behavioral change.
I mean, they go to all doctors, they've been treated for typhoid, they've been treated for amoeba, they're treated for malaria, but those symptoms are just not going away. So those are the people that you need to go and have a proper lookup.
And so it seems the government's response may need to incorporate research and capacity building. Charity Mwangi, NTV.
Away from that, Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu has maintained that the decision by the court to bar him from accessing his county office will not stop him from exercising his mandate as the county's chief executive. Waititu has dismissed his deputy, James Nyoro, and asserted that he is still fully in charge of the operations of the county. It is yet another round of display of the broken relationship at the apex of the county's leadership.
4 days after being released from remand prison where he had been held pending payment of bail in his 588 million shilling graft case on roads tenders, Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu stepped into the public eye. The court barred him from accessing his office, and so he was in various parts of the county, inspecting development projects, maintaining that the court did not eject him from his position as governor.
Mimi naendelea kufanyia kazi Kiambu. Hata sio lazima nikuwe kwa ofisi. Hata kazi ile mimi nimekuwa nikifanya ile mingi. Sikuwangi kwa ofisi. Kwa sababu kazi mingi ambaye governor anafanya haiko kwa ofisi ndani. Kazi mingi ya governor ni kuenda katika mashinani.
He spoke as one slighted by his deputy James Nyoro, who on Tuesday held a press conference asserting that he is in charge of the county.
Njia ya kuchukua kiti ya governor ni governor akikufa ama resign ama apatiwe awe impeached. Hizo ndio njia za kuchukua kiti ya governor. Hakuna mkato ingine. Na ndio kwa maana umeona mpaka sasa katika Samburu hakuna deputy governor hata Samburu ameonekana kwa TV hata siku moja. Na bado ile governor wa Samburu kama mimi aliambiwa asiende kwa ofisi mpaka kesi yake ishe.
Waititu has dismissed Nyoro's move to chair a cabinet meeting in his absence as a vain endeavor.
Hiyo uliona ikifanywa, hiyo sio mkutano ya cabinet. Cabinet ni watu wanakutana, wanajadiliana na ajenda zile ziko. Na ndio kwa lazima kuwe na notice. Wale ambao mnataka kunitoa kwa kiti hiyo 2022 ikifika, tafadhali ngojeni. Wananchi ndio watapiga kura, lakini saa hii wacheni tufanyie wananchi wa Kiambu kazi.
The health of the Kiambu County government's leadership continues to deteriorate in light of the public discord that the county CEO and his deputy display. Two have previously clashed in public and are said to hardly see eye to eye, leaving the county's unity in the eye of a storm. Vincent Odur, NTV.
As tensions between the Kenya National Union of Teachers and the Teachers Service Commission intensify, teachers in the country are bearing the brunt of the battle. NAT Secretary General Wilson Sosion is accusing the commission of frustrating the union. In the phasing out of the 3 schemes of service, teachers and staff members of the union have been seen changes by TSC in their pay slips as salary increments were withheld from their pay for the month of July. Sosion has hit back at the move by the TSC, claiming that they are in violation of the 2017-2021 collective bargaining agreement. He claims that the new career progression guidelines will stifle the career trajectory of educators, which will ultimately be reflected in their pay and benefits. Sosion says he will fight tooth and nail to protect the remuneration and working conditions for educators in the country. Anti-narcotics detectives in Mombasa have arrested a Tanzanian national who was found with heroin worth 21 million shillings. Detectives claim that Majud Suleiman trafficked the drugs from Brazil with the help of a woman identified as Nasim Athman Mohammed, who is still at large. Nasim is said to have shipped the drugs through Juba in South Sudan, then Kampala in Uganda, onto Nairobi, and finally Mombasa. Police say that Suleiman was yet to distribute the narcotics to areas of Mombasa, Mtwapa and Malindi, where clients were waiting. Detectives have also indicated that there are powerful government officials and businessmen aiding traffickers in the coast region who also benefit from the proceeds. And still on that, the tide of the drug trafficking business in the country is slowly changing. As in the case of today's arrest, more women are being involved in the illegal business. In 2019 alone, around 8 women have been arrested in connection to the trafficking trade, most of whom are in Mombasa. The police say the kingpins in the illegal trade are now using their relatives, mostly wives, to extend their network in the business. Kevin Mutai sets context on the changing dynamics of a trade that continues to destroy lives of young Kenyans.
The piercing reality of the increasing infiltration of drug abuse in the country, with growing concern over its changing face and the morphing approach by drug lords. Some of the greatest victims of the ill are the youth, some of whose bodies are tattooed by the scars of their addictions and the lives that bear the painful marks of the chains of bondage.
Vijana wengi wamepotea sana katika hili swala tata la miadarati, tumia madawa ya kulevya, bangi.
In 2018, crimes involving dangerous drugs reported to police stood at 8,021, up from 5,565 cases, an increase of 44% according to the 2019 economic survey. The growing trade, especially in the coast, has been attributed to changes in the approach that drug kingpins are using in their trade.
Wengine wale tumeshika, unapata even relatives, either bibi au dada ya watu ambao tayari tumeshika.
Tunaona kina mama pia wanatumia kuleta hizi miadharati, wamekuwa ni maagent wa kuleta miadharati.
The police say they have also noted the turn in approach, and residents of Mombasa who say they know the traffickers also corroborate Nakada's view.
Sasa ndo wanatumia wanawake because it's easier, because women are not easily suspected.
Hata kuna sehemu pale Changamwe kielekea airport panaitwa Kwaola. Siku nyingine mimi kapitia hapo. Mama mwenyewe ndio anauza. Mama aswa amevalia mbuimbui.
On 30th April 2019, officers from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations arrested a 62-year-old woman, Salima Bakari, and 40-year-old Zainab Abdi Farah. Detectives found 1 kilogram of heroin in their possession, worth 3 million shillings. The two have allegedly been running the business from their house in Soweto, Kisauni, and the authorities are investigating their links to drug kingpin Swale Yusuf Ahmed, alias Kandereni. Police say that Kandereni has been arrested a number of times in connection to trafficking drugs worth millions of shillings, and he always manages to get out of prison.
Tunajua inapitia pande ya South Coast, lakini kule huyu imetoka because tunajua hata hii madawa haifanyiwi hapa Afrika, zinafanyiwa nje, na hiyo mataifa inajulikana yale hata mpaka iko na industry zake.
While behind bars, he, his wife and others allegedly planned to steal 3 title deeds that would be used to secure his freedom. Between November 2018 and January 2019, 3 title deeds worth 61 million shillings were stolen from court in Malindi. His wife was also arrested and prosecuted over her links to the narcotic business.
Wajua hizo visa husababishwa na viongozi wetu bana. Hao ndio wanaleta hizo madawa, ndio wanatuuzia na vijana wetu wanaangamia. Sasa kukomesha hizi vitu mpaka hao wakubwa washitakiwe.
Detectives at the coast say that the drug cartel in the country is using the Lunga border point to bring in the narcotics. This situation sits amid concerns that drug trafficking is deeply rooted in Kenya and led by drug barons who are protected by powerful individuals in government.
Tunapata habari muhimu ya wale ambao wanahusika na hiyo madawa, wale ambao ni wakubwa wao. Na hata wao tutawakujia, tutawakamata wote. Hakuna mkubwa yote kwa madawa. Madawa ni madawa, hata kama uko position gani within the society.
The drug abuse menace has been attributed to the increasing number of criminal activities in areas such as Kisauni, Likoni, Mtwapa, Nyali and other regions within the coast. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
Quite a sad state of affairs there. And now to some politics. A leader of majority in the National Assembly, Aden Duale, has thrown his weight behind a referendum to create a system of governance that has a prime minister. This adds to the referendum debate where Third Way Alliance party leader Okoth has termed the move by the High Court to stop county assemblies from debating the Punguza Mizigo bill as unconstitutional. Okoth says the court cannot use an order to amend constitutional timelines.
Sasa sisi tunataka kama wafugaji tuambie mandugu zetu wa Kenya, wacha tuende parliamentary system. Kenya iongozwe na prime minister na wajumbe wa bunge la kitaifa na senate. Ule atapata wajumbe wengi ama ile chama itakuwa na wajumbe wengi, washikane walete prime minister.
The constitutional timeline given to the county assemblies is static. It's a maximum of 3 months. So if he takes away the 14 days, how will these county assemblies recover those 14 days without a constitutional crisis? Yet that is the mandate.
20 minutes past the hour, we take our first short break on NTV Weekend Edition this Saturday. We still have plenty more for you, so stay with us.
School of Business, University of Nairobi, globally recognized and offering internationally accredited programs, invites applications for the September 2019 intake in the following postgraduate and undergraduate programs: Master in Business Administration, Master of Science in Marketing, Human Resources Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovations Management, Finance, Supply Chain Management, Operations and Technology Management, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor Commerce Distance Learning, Bachelor of Science in Finance, Accounting, Operations and Supply Chain Management. Programs are offered in Mombasa and Kisumu campuses and selected programs at the Eldoret Learning Center. Apply online through application.uonbi.ac.ke and be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in Sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
Why are you filming, Mummy? To help people stop getting sick. People think the weather makes them sick. Actually, it's the germs. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs, including the cold and flu virus.
Nation FM. More music and less talk. Nairobi 96.3, Mombasa 101.5, Meru 93.9, Nyeri 104.9, Eldoret 102.7, and Nakuru on 97.7. Follow us on social media on Facebook at Nation FM, Instagram at Nation FM, and on Twitter at Nation FM KE. Nation FM. More music and less talk. Simple Loaf. Slices of life.
The Aerial Assurance Challenge.
Asante sana. Sasa, ni nini kingine ambacho unaweza kumfanyia msichana wetu?
Kila kitu. Hata kufua nguo na Aerial mpya.
Basi, tuonyeshe.
Hey, sasa fanya haya madoa yawe sugu zaidi. Sasa tufue kwa kutumia sabuni yako na kutumia Aerial mpya. Aerial sasa inapatikana kwenye pakiti mpya. Unaniamini sasa? Aerial huondoa madoa sugu kwa mwosho mmoja tu.
Unye vipi bana? Nini poa? Na umenitumia ka message kwa WhatsApp? Alafu before nisome ikaandikwa deleted for everyone.
Ati?
Unaweza nitumia tena ndio nisikue nimekosa kitu my friend?
Usijali, hiyo haikuwa yako. Ilikuwa ya tinga hiyo.
Fuata Joshua ufike Kanani. Wasikiza sawa?
Lakini Joshua, yes. Hata tukienda Kanani sahihi, si mfalme Uhuru ashafika.
Call on me anytime you want to. Call on me.
AMG Realtors brings you Kikopay Ridge. 8th acre parcels located just 5 minutes drive from Nairobi Nakuru Highway. Book with 50K, balance in 4 months. AMG Realtors. Integrity.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Now, a litre of fresh camel milk goes for about 200 shillings or more. Even in its abundance during and after the rainy season, the price of milk remains high, especially in the urban areas. The Somali community enjoy the milk, and in the rural areas, one can even get it for free, as Mohammed Salah now reports.
The pasture is pleasing to the eyes. And this means good tidings for livestock. And plenty of meat and milk for the pastoralists and their families. Thanks to the March April rains. This is Abore location in Wajir South, Wajir County.
Kwanza mwaka huu gamia amesa.
This time of the year comes with blessings. There is an increase in milk production, and many arrive from the urban centers to this village attracted by the availability of fresh camel milk. Ali Mohammed and Khalid Mohammed are taking a break from the bustle and hustle of the capital Nairobi and Garissa town, taking a brisk 2 hours walk to the grazing fields on the outskirts of Abore village. In the village, for 200 Kenyan shillings, you will get 5 liters of fresh camel milk, while in the grazing land, the camel milk is offered for free.
In fact, a glass of camel milk in Nairobi city, it is 200 shillings, while here it is free, and if you want to buy, it is very, very cheap again.
Those with the means will buy it in bulk and make a killing when they get it to urban centers where demand is high.
Wengao wanatuma Wajir, wengao wanatuma upande refugee, wengao wanatuma Garissa.
The camels are milked at least twice a day. Traditionally, the milk is consumed raw. Among the Somalis, camels are important, playing a big role in the culture and economy of the community. Camels are valued more than cows. This is because of their ability to withstand harsh conditions and for the perceived medicinal value from the animal's meat and milk.
Sasa naona gamia hii maziwa yake, maziwa ya gamia ni mzuri sana. Vitamin A and D and C yote iko.
Salah Mohammed, NTV, Abore, Wajir South, Wajir County.
Now, it's a weekend, and instead of drinking camel milk for the vitamins, many may be enjoying a drink or two with friends. Now, you may want to know that alcohol can actually cause hepatitis, which is the inflammation of the liver and can cause untimely death. Low awareness on transmission of the various types of hepatitis has led to a rise in the not-so-well-known illness both in Kenya and globally. We look at the viral disease that only a few Kenyans have been tested for and vaccinated against.
The World Health Organization estimates that in 2015, 257 million people were living with chronic hepatitis B infections, and currently an estimated 5% of Kenyans are infected with hepatitis. Anne, who requested for identity to be hidden due to fear of stigma, is living with hepatitis B, the most common type of hepatitis in Kenya.
After kufanya test, akaniambia sasa hiyo imeenea sana. Na hakuna vile inaweza kuwa naweza ndungwa shindano iishe. Lazima nianze dawa. So nikaanza dawa za hepatitis B na akani prepare akaniambia hizi nitakunywa for life. So I had to accept.
Hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver. It can have various causes such as viruses, especially hepatitis virus A, virus B, C, D, and E. Alcohol is also a cause of the illness. With autoimmune hepatitis, the immune system is overactive and attacks the liver cells. Viral hepatitis B and C are major health challenges affecting 325 million people globally. They are root causes of liver cancer, leading to 1.3 million deaths every year, according to WHO. According to Dr. Eric Murunga, a liver expert based in Nairobi, hepatitis cases have continued to rise due to insufficient awareness on the illness and the various forms of transmission.
B is the most common, and that is transmitted through body fluids. The most common mode of transmission in endemic countries like Kenya is mother to child, what we call vertical transmission. It can also be transmitted sexually or from blood transfusion, sharing injection needles, things like that. Hepatitis C is transmitted mainly through sharing of injection needles, like people who use drugs. Hepatitis A and E are transmitted through fecal-oral transmission, meaning from what you eat. If there's contaminated water, contaminated food, that's how you get those.
This has informed the persistent calls by health experts for timely medical checks. If results turn out negative, doctors advise for vaccination for prevention.
And by the time somebody knows they have it, it may be too late to do something. And this process can take place quickly, over maybe a few weeks, or it's a process that can take many years, 20, 30 years, before problems come about. Most people have what we call chronic hepatitis B, which means it stays in the body for many years and keeps damaging the liver. And the extent of the damage really determines how dangerous it's going to be. You can get liver cirrhosis where the liver can fail. This is when you hear people having to go for liver transplants, and it can also cause liver cancer.
At least 60% of liver cancer cases are due to late testing and treatment of viral hepatitis B and C. Experts believe that the low coverage of testing and treatment needs to be addressed in order to achieve the global elimination goals by 2030. Eunice Omolo, NTV.
I guess it's a call on Kenyans to get the hepatitis vaccine then in that case. Now, hundreds of drivers and commuters were today stranded for over 12 hours on the Nairobi-Nakuru highway due to a huge traffic snarl-up. The Gilgil Police Commander Emmanuel Opuru says the snarl-up, was as a result of one side of the road being closed at the Gilgil Weighbridge. Vehicles from both directions had to use one side of the road, hence the traffic. The commuters who spent the night in the cold also noted that the congestion was as a result of many people using the road and many of the schools that have closed as well.
Toka jana saa 8 mpaka saa hii usiku watu wako barabara. Huyu mtu hawezi kufungua barabara, polisi wanapita unaangalia watu. Hapa watu wananunua mkate saa hii shilingi 200, 300. Kama ilikuwa ni waziri mmoja hapa amekwama, kungeletwa helikopta kama 10 hapa. Na sisi raia wa nchi hii. Kwa nini tunapata
On that note, we take another short break on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, we have Women and Power, so stay with us because we still have your favorite segments as well.
Anything crazy without your friends? Drink Fanta, taste fun.
AMG Realtors brings you Kikopay Ridge. 8th acre parcels located just 5 minutes drive from Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. Accessible at the popular Kikopay stopover. Kikopay Ridge enjoys beautiful views of Lake Elementaita. Buy now at 350k and save 50,000 shillings. Installments price is 400,000 shillings. Book with 50k, balance in 4 months. Join us on our open day on 3rd August and this beautiful puppy might be yours. SMS Kikopay to 40299. AMG Realtors. Integrity.
The things you do. No, I cannot keep up with the things you do.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge Mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Now is your time to dance and rejoice.
It's time for the Great Gospel Crusade with Evangelist Daniel Kolenda and the ministry of Reinhard Bonke Nakuru.
That Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father.
Come and receive your miracle from God at the 4-day power-packed crusade from Thursday 8th August to Sunday 11th August 2019. The venue is Afraha Stadium Open Grounds from 3 p.m. daily.
Come and be blessed.
Jesus is Lord.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome back. Margaret Onyancha's zeal to live beyond her circumstances shone through last week when she graduated with a master's degree in special education from Kenyatta University. In 1992, she was involved in a road accident which left her paralyzed just before sitting her KCSE examinations. Margaret shares her journey to the top with Gladys Gashanja on this week's Women and Power.
I'm Margaret Onyancha. I'm a trained teacher and I recently graduated with my master's in special education. I wasn't born like this, but several years ago, I had a road accident in Kisii while I was from a school trip in Kisumu with my colleagues. We were in 4th form. I lost the use of my legs, I lost the use of my arms, and I became a dependent. For so long, for so many years. I have been on a wheelchair for 26 years, but after the accident, I never got to finish my education because I suffered the accident when I was in 4th form, just before the exams. That was in June of 1992. I ended up at the spinal injury hospital where I stayed for 1.5 years. After I was discharged from the spinal injury hospital, I lived with my auntie and uncle who helped me to go for physiotherapy, and they took care of me for about 5 years before I eventually resettled at home in Kisii and sat out there for 16 good years without knowing much what to do with life. just getting out, sitting in the sun and going back to bed. And that was my life for the 16 years. I used to ask myself, can I go back to school? Can I be able to complete my exams? Because of the state I was in, I resigned to fate. I already said, no, it cannot be done. I was the first one to write myself off. In 2005, a cousin of mine came home with a newly married husband by the name of Professor Michael Wainaina. He asked, why have you not completed your, why didn't you go back to school? And I was like, how could I go back to school? He used to call almost every day. He used to text every day. He used to ask me, what are the plans? What have you decided? I wanted to get rid of him. And by getting rid of him, I decided, okay, let me just try. I started reading for the exams in June of 2006 and sat for the exam in December. Okay, is it October? October 2007. I scored a C+. September, I was in KU of 2008 as a first-year student. My first degree was in special needs education. I thought now that I found myself in these special needs, I would understand more the problems people are facing, the challenges. So I wanted to be sort of a motivation, sort of show other people that it's possible, that even if you're in this condition, you can be able to achieve something. When you get yourself in any situation, the first thing you have to do is to accept the situation. That's the first A. And then you try to adjust. Adjust according to the situation that you find yourself in. And after adjusting, you advance. That's the only way to go about it in life. Try as much as possible to advance from wherever you are to the next level, step by step.
What a beautiful story there of Margaret Onyancha. We certainly wish her the very best as she soldiers on. We take another break on NTV Weekend Edition. Stay with us because when we come back, it's that part of the broadcast, your favorite segments.
Are you ready for Kenya's most anticipated color run? The Plascon Color Run. On Sunday, August 11th, the color storm hits Uhuru Gardens, Langata Road. Come experience a whole new level of heaven on earth. DJ Music Mix Entertainment and performances by renowned artists. Gates open at 10 a.m. Available kids arena. Plenty of food and drinks all day long. Simply dial *229*38# or log on to www.mtickets.com to get your ticket today. Plascon, color your world. School of Business University of Nairobi, globally recognized and offering internationally accredited programs, invites applications for the September 2019 intake in the following postgraduate and undergraduate programs: Master in Business Administration, Master of Science in Marketing, Human Resources Management, Entrepreneurship and Innovations Management, Finance, Supply Chain Management, Operations and Technology Management, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor Commerce Distance Learning, Bachelor of Science in Finance, Accounting, Operations and Supply Chain Management. Programs are offered in Mombasa and Kisumu campuses and selected programs at the Eldoret Learning Center. Apply online through application.uonbi.ac.ke and be the first to secure admission at the most prestigious university in sub-Saharan Africa. The University of Nairobi is a world-class university committed to scholarly excellence.
I told you to kick it more to the left.
No, kick it higher.
No, to the left.
Come on, guys, stop it. Remember the win.
OneXBet, African betting partner of Tottenham Hotspur.
Making my family some nutritious porridge is a painstaking process. First, I have to find all the ingredients needed, and there are many. For vitamins, proteins, and minerals, I need cassava, sorghum, millet.
You no longer need to go through all that to make nutritious porridge.
All you need is NutriPro.
You don't have to go through the trouble of finding, measuring, and weighing all these vital ingredients. New NutriPro porridge flour comes fortified with 13 vitamins, proteins, and minerals. This means that you have more time to focus on what's important, giving your family the healthy start they deserve. NutriPro, bringing families together. From Tropical Brand.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome back. It's now time for your favorite Saturday segments. Have you heard about this Nigerian man who climbed onto the wing of a plane as it prepared to take off at the largest airport in Lagos? The man walked towards the aircraft on the runway and was spotted by the pilot. He then jumped onto the wing of the plane and tried to access the cabin. The pilot radioed the tarmac to report the incident, and as you see there, he even scared the other passengers. Dear Nigerians, we need to talk. We need to talk. What are these? Have you heard about Sophie the robot, which whips up oodles of Singapore noodles? A Singaporean engineering company has built a robot that can serve up a piping hot bowl of the city-state's most well-known dishes in just 45 seconds. This way, the restaurants can save on hiring waiters and waitresses and also reduce the time taken to serve customers. Very smart and fascinating until robots actually become news anchors, and I am the viewer now. Have you heard about this Bulgarian singer who's entered the Guinness Book of World Records because of her voice? An official Guinness World Record has confirmed that Smiljana Zaharevia has one of the most powerful voices on the planet, which can stay pitch perfect despite being as loud as a rock concert. Zaharevia now wants to explore the curative effects of sound to help people and find a message to convey. Listen to her and be the judge. By the way, have you heard that Instagram has started hiding likes on its platform to ease pressure on users following criticism about its impact on mental health? The social media giant's trial changes mean users in Australia, Brazil, Italy, Ireland, and Japan, and now New Zealand will no longer be able to see the number of likes on other people's posts. Studies in the United States and the United Kingdom have ranked Instagram as the worst social media platform for young people's mental health. Think about that. Let's now have a look at some of the historic events of the years gone by. On 29th July 2016, Hillary Clinton became the first woman to be nominated by a major party for president of the United States when she accepted the Democratic Party nomination during the convention in Philadelphia. Clinton would eventually lose to Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election and has since kept away from public life. On 29th July 1968, Pope Paul VI declared any artificial forms of birth control prohibited in an encyclical entitled Humanae Vitae, or of human life. His decision meant that use by Catholics of artificial devices to prevent contraception would be regarded as a grave mortal sin. Vatican observers, theologians, and laymen have been urging relaxation of the ban. On 30th July 2018, official Malaysian investigation into the disappearance of a flight MH370 was unable to determine what happened and called off the mission. The flight disappeared on 8th March 2014 with 239 people on board. It remains one of the most enduring mysteries in aviation history. The aircraft disappeared over the South China Sea some 38 minutes after takeoff. On 1st August 1774, oxygen was apparently discovered English chemist and author Joseph Priestley discovered the existence of oxygen by isolating it in its gaseous state during an experiment at Buxwood House in England. Priestley's findings enabled French chemist Antoine Lavoisier to discover its role in combustion and name it oxygen in 1778. Well, now you know the man to thank for the air you breathe. On 3rd August 1999, Arsenal FC completed a huge signing of French striker Thierry Henry for a bargain of £10 million from Italian club Juventus. Henry would go on to become the greatest player in the club's history, scoring 174 goals in 254 appearances, and he was also part of the Invincibles in 2004. He left for Barcelona in 2007, and there he won the UEFA Champions League. Away from history, it's now time for the big numbers of the week. Our first big number this week is, of course, 58. This is, unfortunately, the age at which Bomet Governor Joyce Laboso died on Monday. Dr. Joyce Laboso succumbed to cancer after battling the illness for a while, even seeking treatment in the United Kingdom and in India as well. The late governor was laid to rest today and has been hailed as a visionary and the stalwart of women leadership in the country, and may she rest in eternal quiet. Our second big number this week is 32,987. This is the number of Kenyans who die from cancer every year, and of course in 2018, according to the government. The Ministry of Health also says that over 42,000 new cancer cases are reported every year. As a result, President Uhuru Kenyatta has announced plans to build cancer centers across the country to improve screening and therapy services. Then we move on to another unfortunate number, 675 it is. This is the number of employees who will lose their jobs in two major companies in the country. The East African Breweries Limited says it will let go of some 100 employees as it moves some services to India. The merger between Telkom and Airtel will see some 575 staff members, according to an internal memo, also lose their jobs. Experts say these are signs that the economy is struggling. Our final big number of the week is 2,586. This is the value at which the Nairobi Securities Exchange 20-share index closed Friday's trade. It is the first time since March 13th, 2009 that the index has fallen below the 2,600 mark, and shows how much the value of the stocks is falling, with investors now losing value. Again, another big sign that the economy actually struggling as well. And those are your numbers of the week. Now, do you ever wonder how it is that things happen how they do exactly, and why the universe, keeps changing things the way it does? Take the example of this 3-year-old boy who desperately clung onto the balcony of a railing for nearly 4 minutes to delay what would have been a deadly fall. He hung on the balcony just long enough for some quick thinking neighbors to tie blankets together and form a circle on the terrace to break the shocking fall. Fortunately enough, the boy landed safely and walked away unscathed, I should say, from that incident. I know you're asking yourself several questions now, but hey, the universe does work in very mysterious ways, and I think we can all agree to that. Glad the boy is actually safe after that. And that marks the end of your favorite segments this Saturday. We take another short break on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, Ida Waringa has the day's sports.
Konza Greens is the only controlled residential development within Konza Techno City Buffer Zone. Secure your future today.
Get tested, get vaccinated, and if infected, get the right treatment. For more information, visit www.kickthevirus.com.
discovered the world-famous Molfix and saw the difference. Let's see how absorbent Molfix is. Molfix, thanks to its ultra-absorbent particles, can keep more liquid than the other diaper brand, so you can use it comfortably all day long. All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Unye vipi bana? Nini poa? Na umenitumia ka message kwa WhatsApp. Alafu before nisome ikaandikwa deleted for everyone. Ati? Unaweza nitumia tena ndio nisikue nimekosa kitu my friend. Usijali, hiyo haikuwa yako. Ilikuwa ya tinga hiyo.
Fuata Joshua ufike Canaan. Wasikiza sawa?
Lakini Joshua, yes. Hata tukienda Canaan sahi, si mfalme huyu ashafika.
Call on me anytime you want to. Call on me.
AMG Realtors brings you Kikopay Ridge. 8th acre parcels located just 5 minutes drive from Nairobi-Nakuru Highway. Book with 50K, balance in 4 months. AMG Realtors. Integrity.
A very good evening to you. Time to play here on NTV Sport with me, Ida Warenga. Now, both the Kenya and Tanzania national football teams got a feel of the Kasarani pitch ahead of Sunday's return leg CHAN 2020 qualifier. The Harambee Stars will look to leverage their slight advantage, having drawn 0-0 with the Taifa Stars in Dar es Salaam in the first leg.
Come on.
Last-minute touches at the Kasarani Stadium ahead of the CHAN 2020 qualifier first round a second leg battle of the Harambee and Taifa Stars. The two sides drew 0-0 in the first leg, and coach Sebastian Menye, who called up strikers Boniface Mushiri and Kevin Omondi, has been working on the team's finishing for the past week.
Tumekuwa na finishing the whole of the week na wamekuwa kufanya better. Improvement.
While the Harambee Stars seeks to reach its first ever African Nations Championship, money is proving to be a cause for concern for the Football Kenya Federation.
We have not received any money from the ministry, even after making our request since 20th of June. They have said they are doing something. We have not seen anything. We are doing our best to make sure as FKF we see through this game.
Tanzania, consisting of a majority squad who took part in the Nations Cup, also had a feel of the ground as they plotted their revenge for the AFCON 2019 loss to Kenya. In case the match ends in a barren draw, it will be decided on penalties. The aggregate winner will face Sudan in the second and final qualifying round, with a ticket for CHAN 2020 in Cameroon up for grabs. Tickets for the match are retailing at a flat rate of 100 shillings as FKF seeks to fill up the 60,000-seater Kasarani Stadium.
Well, from football to volleyball now, where the national team, the Malkia Strikers, lost their second FIVB Volleyball Intercontinental 2020 Olympics qualifier match after going down in straight sets of 25-17, 25-10 and 25-10 again to the Netherlands in Italy. In their opening tie against the hosts Italy, the Malkia Strikers went down in straight sets again of 25-17, 25-10 and 25-14, while Kenya will play Belgium in their final match on Sunday. This tournament is being played in a single round-robin format, with the winners getting an Olympic ticket. The Malkia Strikers will have another chance to try and qualify for the Olympics that will be in January 2020 through the Confederation of African Volleyball Qualification Tournament. All the best to the Malkia Strikers tomorrow while keeping it national teams flying Kenya's flag abroad. But now on to 15s rugby, and the Kenya Simbas fell by a solitary point against the Zimbabwe Sables in a Victoria Cup clash played in Bulawayo. Zimbabwe won the nail-biting clash at 30-29 to remain unbeaten in the competition after facing Kenya, Uganda and Zambia. Well, back home to St. Anthony's Kitale, who are the under-20 football team, are the 2019 Term 2 Secondary School Games champions. St. Anthony beat Dagoretti High 5-4 in post-match penalties. In volleyball girls final, Kwanthanze defended their title after winning 3-2 over Cheptil. The winners and runners-up will represent the country in the East Africa Games, which will be held in Arusha between the 15th and 24th of this month.
St. Anthony's Kitale under-20 football team beat Dagoretti High 5-4 in post-match penalties to lift the national title. The two sides had battled a barren draw in 120 minutes. This as Nyakach overcame Itigo 2-0 to be crowned champions in girls under-20 football. In boys volleyball, Mogonga were too good over Lelimoko, beating them 3-0 in the final. While in girls volleyball, Kwanthanze defended their title after winning 3-2 against Cheptil.
Twaleta taji laja bana, Kwanthanze aleta taji kutoka kule Tanzania.
Mchuano ya mashule inaonekana imepanda sana. Nimefurahi kuona timu kama Lelmokwa, timu kutoka Nyanza kushinda mara ya kwanza kwa hii mchuano.
Kaya Tiwi are the netball champions after beating Nyakach 36-30.
Lakini wasichana wamejaribu, wamejitahidi, wamecheza defensively, wameexecute on the offense, tukaweza kushinda. Imekuwa si game rahisi sana.
Wiyeta and Serani boys won 2019 Copa Coca-Cola under-16 tournament titles. Serani from Coast Region defeated Koyonzo from Western 1-0, with Juma Munyikai scoring the only goal. Wiyeta from Rift Valley beat Maeni from Western 2-1. Fans from different parts of the country were here in large number to watch the 2019 Term 2 Secondary School Games that came to an end today. Yoshua Makori, NTV, Moi Stadium, Kisumu County.
Thanks for that, Joshua Makori. Enjoyed his week in Kisumu there. Let's move on to Meru St. Lucie School for the Visually Impaired and Oluor School from Western, who have been selected to represent Kenya in the East Africa Games for special primary schools in Arusha, Tanzania. This follows the conclusion of the 17th annual Kenya Primary Special Schools for Learners with Special Needs Games held in Meru County. Well, quite a mouthful there. The games saw pupils compete in 6 different categories. Now, in a pick of the results, Nyanza region won on the hearing deaf impaired category. Nairobi was victorious in the autism category, while the mentally impaired was won by the Western region. At the closing ceremony, calls were made to corporates and county governments to support pupils with special needs.
Kuandika composition kwa English.
Well, Kingston FC from Shauri Moyo are the winners of the 41st edition of the off-season Okoth Bero Football Tournament after beating debutants Alin Juakali from Buruburu on post-match penalties. Brian Atwal followed the hotly contested final at the Umeme grounds in Ziwani and filed this report.
Tournament debutants Alin Juakali's fairy tale run for this year's title of the off-season Okoth Bero tournament was ended by last year's semi-finalists Kingston FC from Shauri Moyo. The Juakali Artisans took the lead in the 20th minute through Evans Juma. Kaluish Walubuka then equalized for Kingston 19 minutes later for a 1-1 draw at halftime. After the interval, Wazito FC's Crispino Sonyango put Kingston ahead. But Juakali leveled through Walcott Walla's stunner that took the game to penalties. A Alinjua Kali captain Jojo Diambo missed the decisive spot kick to gift Kingston their first win in 30 years and second victory since the inception of the tournament 41 years ago.
Kina wanyama wametokea hapa, pia sisi tunaomba tu Mungu pia tufungulie. Kila mtu ana time yake, lakini God ndio msema kweli. Talent ziko hapa chini, so ni makocha tu wakuja wazitafute.
Wasituambie wataenda KPL peke yake ndio watapata wachezaji. Grassroots football ndio inatoa wachezaji.
The shift in calendar by KPL led to Kothbiro being played in June, July this year, away from the traditional December, January dates.
This is the reason we are here. Always you can find good players and good talent, so then with good scouting you bring them to the clubs and hopefully you give them chance for the future.
Hii ndo kiwanja ya history, hapa ndo mali talent natukia, hapa ndo root. Hii mchanga nika unaitupia mbegu, alafu inamea.
Kingston FC will now represent Kenya at the 6th edition of the Dondo Cup in Tanzania, an equivalent of the Kothbiro tournament.
Wachezaji wote wanaocheza mashindano makubwa Kenya wamepita kwenye tournament hii. Ni tournament maarufu ambayo ina gloom vijana wengi, kwa hiyo sifa yake ni kubwa.
The 2019 off-season Kothbiro tournament, which was in its 41st edition, has lived up to its billing. Players have been spotted. Many more will continue to be scouted in their quest to join clubs from top-tier leagues. This a true testament to the growth of Kenyan football from the grassroots level. Reporting for NTV Sport, my name is Brian Otwal.
Congratulations there to Kingston FC. Former world cross-country champion Irene Cheptai returned from maternity with a bang, winning the 5,000 meters race during the North Rift AK track and field meet that was held in Kitale. In motorsport, Manveer Barian retained his Africa Rally Championship title and Baldev Chagar won the Top Fry Classic Rally. Details of these and other stories in our local sports roundup.
Former world cross-country champion Irene Cheptai showed she's back in shape after maternity leave by acing the 5,000 meters race during the North Rift AK meet held at the Kenyatta Stadium in Kitale, Trans Nzoia County. In the men's 5,000 meters, Daniel Simiyu was victorious ahead of Michael Kibet and Robert Kiprop. Brilliant Chep Korea won the women's 10,000 meters, with newcomer Shadrach Kipngetich winning the men's race. Athletes were hunting for tickets to the IAAF World Championships national trials. Manveer Barian and Drew Sturrock retained their Africa Rally Championship title after winning the Pearl of Africa Rally in Uganda. The pair in their Skoda RFI finished nearly 14 minutes ahead of second place Tiasa Nasser, with Arthur Blick third. Back home, and Baldev Chagar and Ravi Soni retained their Top Fry Classic Rally title in Laikipia County, finishing 4 minutes and 37 seconds ahead of Kabras Sugar teammates Onka Rai and Gareth Dorr. South African Jeff Bell with his Kenyan navigator Tim Challen rounded off the podium places. The 4-day event ended at the Mount Kenya Safari Club, with drivers competing for 1,000 kilometers over 9 sections. And a beach volleyball tournament was held at the White Sand Kaiti River on the outskirts of Wote Town in Makueni County. 10 teams in the men's category and 5 in the women's section took part. In the men's draw, Administration Police from Embakasi aced Pool B, while in Pool A, Malix won both their ties. In the ladies category, Makueni Queens, Makindu Queens, Katulani A, Katulani B and Mulani Queens competed against each other.
Moving on to CONMEBOL, the South American Football Confederation, who have handed Lionel Messi a 3-month ban and a $50,000 fine after the midfielder said,
Every day, NTV News Team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took that in this operation,
police are not taking anything to chance it.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness and record history.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya.
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
And beyond.
The politics in the United States capital. It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this note.
Pretty much wraps it up on Sports for tonight. We play again tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm Ida Warenga.
Thank you so much, Ida. What's your favorite sport?
Football, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Okay. By the way, I meant to ask you, the Messi ban, do you think it's deserved?
He said some unsavory things about referees.
Right.
So I think that should attract some form of sanction.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but well, that has been decided now by the powers that be.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Ida. And today, the Jamrock team is not in studio, at least for introduction. I guess they're jealous of my singing skills.
You sure showed them.
Oh, you should have seen me on the microphone, Ida. All right, they'll be back. They're preparing for the show on somewhere else, I guess. They're not here in studio, so they'll be here in a moment for the start of Jamrock. My name is Edmond Nyabola. Thank you so much for being with us for the entirety of the broadcast, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Flora Atieno. Bye-bye.
This is NTV.